Welcome back, everyone, to Strange Planet Podcast. And I'm going to say it's going to be an interesting couple of years, but judging by these past couple of months, I will tell you that. I mean, from our crashing economy to Trump basically applauding a war criminal off the plane when he had his bromance in Alaska there, and a whole lot more has been happening. And I just got to say one thing real quick before I guess we take a dive in here. America, it used to be the land where there was 24/7 Walmarts, $5 footlongs, dollar menus, affordable prices on groceries. And it looks like the further we go down this road is the further we're going to ever get from ever seeing any of that again, if we ever see that again. But I guess now pulling the ship back on lane here, you guys can reflect on that comment if you want as well too. But so now we also
All
have
right.
what?
I'll hold on.
Uh,
I'll reflect. I'll reflect. Oh, are you introducing a topic? Hold on.
well, no, I was just going to say, besides that chaos I just mentioned, we also have what, the National Guard being deployed in certain states now. And it's just, I just feel like week by week, we're just watching this country get destroyed piece by piece. We don't need to be invaded. Trump's doing it for us, for them. I mean, for
Yeah.
them. You know what I mean? But go ahead.
Well,
What were you going to say?
all right. So on your initial
Rant?
comment, rant, whatever. So you know, dollar menu and retail stores being open 24/7. Uh Two things. Inflation, which, has been continuous, throughout much of our nation's history.
Mm-hmm.
We're not going to see dollar things anymore because prices go up.
Especially with
And
tariffs.
well, hold on. Some a
Jumping
lot
the
of
gun.
the oh,
Jumping the gun. Wait not.
hold
Yeah,
on.
right.
A lot of inflation is natural. Like things are increase in price over time. The money supply increases. It's not necessarily due to tariffs. The tariffs don't help prices, but things go up over time. Like, back in the 1940s, you used to buy a steak dinner for 5 cents. Are you going to say, oh, we're not going to see the, a 5 cent steak anymore?
All right, but realistically, as far as the 5 cent steak goes, from
And
1940 to 1990, you know, I mean, there was a decent gap there with obviously inflation, raising prices. But then from 1990 till now, has been a bigger increase than 1940 to 1990.
I wouldn't say that. I would just say that
Really?
wages have not kept up with inflation.
Yeah.
And do you think they
Um,
will?
Here's the thing about that. All of it is tied into one word that is basically at the heart of this country and the things that run it. Profitability.
Yeah.
If your company is not profitable, no one's going to run it.
Yeah.
No one wants to run into the red.
Makes
The
sense.
only way we would ever go back to those prices is if companies did run into the red, even a little bit. But they're not going to do that. So they don't give a shit. They want their money.
Of course
well,
not.
they're not going back to those prices
Yeah, they'll
because
never go back to those
we've
prices.
moved on from
Ever.
that.
Ever. I'm
on your
surprised it's not $5 for gas still, since Bush.
well, on the other point about 24/7 Walmarts. Listen, people do not shop at retail stores like they used to.
Yep.
There's Amazon and online shopping.
Yep.
People don't want to go to malls. That's why malls are,
That was one of
stripped
the
down
keys
and
of
vacant.
COVID. A lot more
So,
people started shopping online during COVID and realized,
Yeah,
hey,
that's what amplified
we can
that.
do this. And
I
then
mean, it was happening even before COVID, and COVID just accelerated it.
Yeah,
Yes.
big time. And other
Yes.
companies that don't normally do it started doing it, like
Yeah.
Best Buy and Walmart.
Yeah.
Walmart always did it. I
All the
think.
stores started having their own kind of online shopping.
Yeah, well, they had to compete with Amazon. That's why, because they sell literally everything,
Right.
So,
So,
yeah,
that was, it's inevitable. I mean, it's more convenient to shop for most things online. That's just
not
a
always
fact.
cheaper though, but it is more convenient.
It usually is actually cheaper.
You think
Yeah.
so? Really?
Amazon,
Yeah.
Well,
Amazon.
Amazon's good for that, I guess. Yeah, that's true.
If you go into any retail store anywhere, first of all, you're paying retail.
Right.
And,
You have to pay
for their
workers, you
overhead.
have to pay, the store,
So
you
all the
gotta
store's
have
overhead,
pay,
unfortunately.
like, right. Whereas if we're at the Amazon, all you do is keep the shit in a warehouse, with robots going around and collecting shit. And I guess there's some employees in there, but you don't have to have cashiers ring things up. You don't have to have security. You don't
Yeah,
have
none of
like,
that.
Here,
It's all just
here's
storage.
here's the problem with that. Once you start eliminating the jobs, you're gonna have all these people who have no jobs to have,
Yep. And then they can't keep a
and
roof over their
and they
head.
can't keep a roof over their heads, and that's
Yep.
the problem.
And does
They're
America care is the
they're
question.
making all these advancements and they're pushing the needle forward, making all these companies more profitable. But what about all the people?
They don't care about
well,
the
here's the
people.
thing.
America doesn't care about the people.
Back to inflation and price increases without wage increases.
It's
Productivity has gone up. A large part of that is due to technology. It takes a lot fewer people to produce either the same or more goods and services. Technology augments humans. It allows humans to do more.
That
And with
doesn't help
AI, it's even accelerating faster.
okay.
but that doesn't
Pause.
help the unemployment problem.
That's my thing. It allows people to do more with less.
Right.
So you don't need people to run your businesses. So the people who own the
Oh,
businesses
you need
can
people.
make
You just
money.
need fewer people.
Yeah, but you make more money if you don't have people running your store, if you have robots.
Exactly. The fewer the better in that
But here's the
case.
thing. What happens to all those people who originally had those jobs? Do you get
Well,
it's you know what it is?
they have
It's,
to retrain and get other jobs.
and who's gonna help them
Uh,
retrain?
And
Themselves?
well,
retrain doing what?
hopefully the government would help them retrain.
What government? We don't have a government.
Yeah.
Well, I
That's a
mean,
good one.
it depends on whether party is in power that is interested in doing that type
And
of
we
thing.
don't have that now. That's for
The
sure.
Democrats proposed that, and the people of the United States did not choose the Democrats, and so
Now we're
I don't
stuck in
know.
the shithole. Yeah, basically.
See, my problem is the way things are going, it's like this. Eventually you're gonna get to a point where that's it. Whatever job you have, whatever money you're making, that's as much as you're gonna make, as much as you're ever gonna make, and it's only gonna go down from there because people are gonna want to cut costs, which means you.
Yeah, I mean,
So
if you
Okay.
think about it, that's a very good point.
it's like I'm over here working at my job, and I'm trying to think how can I get myself a raise. Meanwhile, management's looking how can we cut your expenditures in your
Exactly
department.
right.
Well,
just like,
And the government only
because they
cares
want
about
to cut
businesses,
your
not
it's
people.
no, it's not because they want to cut your expenses. It's not because they want to cut labor. It's because if they don't, another company will, and because they're more profitable, they'll get more investment. Because when you make an investment, what do you want to see? Profit
Profit.
on your investment. And
Yeah, but
so
when you have
when you're
lives at risk and lives at stake and an employee,
right, but
like that should matter. You know what I mean?
okay,
Shouldn't it?
but like a person who's in charge of a company or a board, they're not thinking about the macro
No, they're just thinking about
economic
themselves.
effects of, well, I mean, that's all they can do. They can't be responsible for everyone
But all
else.
those people that work for him have to be responsible for doing the job for him, though, right?
Sure, but if they
So that
don't
doesn't
need
make
them to
any
do the
sense.
job, then
Yeah, I mean, if they can't do the job or they're not doing it correctly,
it's
then
not
I
that they
understand them
can't,
getting
it's
the
that they
axe.
don't need them to do the job.
So then what do all those people that are losing jobs because of this do? They can't get a job in the related field
You're at
because
if you're a business person that owns a business, that's not your job or responsibility. It's
true.
not.
So just let them die, right? Let them be
I didn't
homeless.
say let them die.
That's
I
what's gonna
said that
happen.
it's not their responsibility.
No, it's definitely not. I guess in that case,
Unless we're living in a society where we force business owners to be less productive, which I don't think is a
are you
smart
kidding?
idea.
Not in America. It's all about greed here. It's got to be. You can never make what you made last year. It's always got to be more. You know.
Yeah.
You can't make
You
the
always got
same
to push.
number. God
You
forbid.
got to
You
keep
know what I
pushing the
mean?
line forward.
Right.
Got to keep
Well,
pushing the line
okay,
forward.
but here's why.
If you
Here's
never push the
why.
line back, how are you supposed to?
Here's why. If you put $100 into an investment, do you want the value of your investment to stay the same?
You're looking at it from the money point of view. It's just like all this money is going to the people who have money already.
Yeah,
Meanwhile,
lots of
Okay.
it
people who
too.
are working for
Not
their
necessarily.
Most business owners are doing very well, especially the
No, I
Amazon,
wouldn't say
Apple,
that.
Microsoft.
Yeah. Okay, but
I
those
think they're
are
going to do
like
just fine.
exceptional businesses. Those aren't the majority of businesses, which are
So
small businesses.
We don't have
small
small
businesses,
businesses
the
in
little
America
people who are
anymore.
trying to get on the
That's not
team because they
true. There
got
are
fired
plenty
from
of
another
small
job.
Well, they're
businesses.
slowly dying with tariffs, so they're not going to be around in 2 years. I guarantee
That's
you
the
half of them will
problem.
be cut in half. Guarantee you, at least half will be
You lose
cut.
your job at something that you trained for. You try to open up a business that gets crushed because of fucking, everybody else. And then it's just like it's all coming down to you have to work for someone to make your money. Otherwise, you have to become a lawyer or a doctor or know
But
somebody.
even then, that's no guarantee to success either. It really isn't.
Yeah.
There really is no guarantee to any success. And don't get it twisted.
Do
A
you
college
do you
degree
think
is
do you
also
think
not,
success should be guaranteed?
depending upon
I
how
think that
hard you work. But
raises
if
should
you're,
be guaranteed as long as you're doing your job properly.
yeah, I feel like if you're going to
So
open
you
up a
you
business,
so who is responsible for guaranteeing success then?
what I
You're in the black again this year. Success. Pay your people.
Yeah, that's what I think should happen. I think if you're going to have some multi-million-dollar business, it should be
But if you're in
mandatory
the
pay your
black
employees
for
livable
if you're in the
wages.
black for cutting your labor force to save costs, then
Then yeah, you're just thinking about yourself and the
Yeah,
company's
then
interest.
you're thinking about the company. You're
Yeah, the
thinking
company's
about
best interest.
you're
So
thinking
by
about your
laying off
investors
10,000
and saying
people, you
fuck
don't
the
give a
people that
fuck
work.
about
no,
them.
it's
You know what I
not
mean?
just the investors, it's the company as well, because another company that does cut costs and figures out how to do things more efficiently with less costs is going to succeed over your company.
All right, well, let me ask you
The way
this.
Basically,
that
the race is to
capitalism
take
works.
advantage as much as you can. Basically, that's how American businesses run. Take as much advantage as you can.
It's not
Because if you
as
don't, someone
taking
else will.
advantage. It's
It's
you
100%
have
taking
you
advantage.
have to be efficient.
Because put it this way, the
Otherwise,
three of
you're
us,
out of business.
well, put it this way, the three of us right now could start a business doing X, whatever that is. Just we'll label it as X for right now, right? We can pay our employees a shit wage, minimum wage at that fact, which is not a livable wage by any standard. And then we can that's legal. We can do that. You realize that? So those people can't survive, yet they're doing 40 plus hours probably a week. We're reaping all the benefits because we're the owners, the three of us, and round we go, right? And we
Yep.
don't even really do the
Well,
work. We just do the overseeing.
no, if you're going to run a
Like-
business, then if you hire people and pay them shit wages, the way to increase your profits year over year is to figure out how to do things more efficiently, whether that's by,
Lowering their-
employing, hold on, whether that's by employing, workers that do things better, or whether that's by securing the use of AI or machines that can augment the productivity of your business.
Fine.
Like you're going to figure out, what do I have to do to make more profit? Otherwise, why are you in business? Like you can't be in, like I guess there are some businesses where, they're what are they called? Not for profits and stuff like that. But the
Non-profits and
majority,
shit.
yeah, there's
Yeah.
nonprofits and not for profits.
It's
And
definitely not healthcare, not
that's
America.
fine. But if you are in just a regular business, you have to make profit. Otherwise, you're not going to be in business very long.
Yeah, but if you made $1 billion last year and you made 900 million this year, I think you're gonna be okay. Something tells me.
Not really.
You know what I mean? Like, I think you're gonna be all right.
No, because investors see that loss of their money and they'll take their money elsewhere. And then when you want to expand your business, you can't, because you have to go and borrow money now because you don't have that profit
And then there's the cycle
know-
of greed coming right in full circle again. That's
It's
basically
not
what it comes
greed.
down to.
It's not greed. It's like
Entirely
you
greed.
can't expand your business, or
You're
you have to
making $1
expand your
billion.
business at a
What do you
greater
need to
expense
expand
because you
for?
have to borrow money at a higher cost.
You're making $1 billion. You can already survive 3 lifetimes at a minimum on that. What do you like need to
Who's making $1
expand
billion?
anymore?
Who's making $1 billion?
The company, the X company we just made up
Well,
like
all right.
5 minutes ago.
Here-
You know what I
Here-
mean? That's what I'm saying. The greed is what's ruining it all. That's what's really the major destructor here.
Here's the problem: when your mailroom people barely make enough wages to even pay the bills that they live in,
Yeah.
and you're giving like $4 million bonuses to 2 or 3 people because they just happen to be in the upper echelon of whatever they're doing. I mean, I understand there's commission,
Right.
but
They worked hard and got there.
they worked hard. They
Some
schmoozed
of them
the
did.
person for money.
Most of them are
Sure.
overseers. They're not even doing shit.
It's what it is. It's just like all businesses are doomed to fail at some point because the way the money system works,
Or
eventually gets to a point where the business can't make enough money and it has to close down.
or until someone else comes up with the exact same
Tell that
business
to
model. but
Disney.
better.
I don't see Disney failing anytime soon. But
No,
go
no,
on.
but they're not going to have any.
Well, actually, they have, but you don't see it
Oh, yeah?
because the ride fails. They take it down and they put up a new one.
Yeah, that's true too. I guess
That's
for
the
future-
difference
The
there.
ride.
for the
They
theme
own
ride.
like everything though.
No, but that's the
They're
thing.
not relying
Nothing
on their
stays.
theme parks.
Nothing stays. It all comes down and gets replaced.
Oh, sure. Like if you carry anything for far enough into the future, it'll eventually fail.
Yeah.
Right. then it'll be replaced.
Matter will fall apart and disintegrate over time.
No, but my
The
thing is
universe
like
will fall apart. Yes,
with
at some
comfort
point,
business.
everything will fail.
If you have a company
But
that wants to get bigger, they get investors, they get bigger. There's only a certain point they can get big and they can't get much bigger after that. At that point, what do they do to still stay in the black? They start cutting costs. Eventually, you cut enough costs to where you're running thin and lean and good. But guess what? Next year, you got to be in the black again. So we're going to cut costs there. Then you start sacrificing, your
workers.
staff and
Yeah,
this, that, and the other thing.
the
So
ones that do the
it gets
job.
to a
really.
point where you can't cut any more fat off the bone, and then the next year they want you to cut more fat off the bone. What do you do?
Yeah, and
That's
what do
my
you-
problem. It's a defeating.
well, you have
I
to
agree.
and-
I agree.
You're done.
Yeah,
you have to come
there's
up
no
with
there's no sense of
either
security
new
at all.
innovative products or
No
revenue.
innovative products. Okay.
Yeah, there's no job security in this country. There really isn't, because with everything at the accelerated rate that it's at, and the fact that the businesses basically can do whatever they want, that's with those things intact. Everyone else is just a pawn in the game of chess here. Think about it. It's sad, but it's true. Unless you were born into money, you know what I mean, and like you know what I mean.
Problem with it all is, I don't want to say the education system, but we're brought up to believe that you could work for a living and make enough money to survive.
And you can't.
It can't do that anymore.
No, you can't.
You have to work for a living and have your own business.
Or have a side thing, because if you don't, you're not getting by.
Or happen to have gone to a prestigious college and got a high-paying job. But guess what? Like my cousin learned, that job can get taken out of you
away in
right
a
away.
heartbeat. Yep.
You ended
That's
up,
very true.
you
And
know,
then you have
Okay,
a
but
criminal
what is
president
what is the solution? Your solution sounds like socialism. It's to guarantee success.
no,
not
I'm not
success,
looking for
but guarantee a
success.
livable
I'm just
wage.
saying it's just that there's no ebb and flow. There's ebb and nothing else.
Yeah,
It all
but there's
goes towards the businesses and pushing that line further. But no one says, hey, maybe this year, maybe this quarter, we take a loss to kind of pull the lines back a bit. But that never happens. I mean, yeah, you also have to deal with, supply and demand on some things.
So
And it's another issue.
so you're gonna run a business where you operate at a loss on purpose? I mean, sometimes you want to make big investments some quarters because it'll pay off later. Sure.
Yeah, but
like
nobody
no
invests in their own
businessman is gonna be like, oh yeah, let's run into the red a little bit.
Yeah, let's lose money
Like
this quarter.
let's lose money.
When everyone
we don't
decides
need
to
to
want to
make
cut money,
more.
what's the first thing they think of? They don't think of cutting the quality of the product. No,
No,
they don't want to
never
do that.
Yeah. It's always the staff.
So
Yeah.
it's always
Sometimes they
make it more
do.
efficient. Make it more efficient.
Sometimes they
At the
do cut
point,
the
you can
quality of
only
the
get to a
product.
certain efficiency.
But then it won't sell. But then it won't sell.
No. Sometimes they do cut the quality of the product. They'll source like
Yeah, but that's the last resort.
ingredients. Hold
though.
on, like for food, they'll source ingredients from like lower quality sources. They'll use cheaper
And then we'll have health
ingredients.
problems. But
Hold
Well, look, that's exactly
okay,
what
but
happened with Table 9.
that's like, you know, that's something that's not cutting labor costs, right?
Yeah, but everybody first goes to labor costs. Where can we cut the fat?
No, that's
Labor.
not true. That's not true. They don't
there's
necessarily cut
layoffs
labor
almost all the
first.
time, though. Like I don't know how you could say that really.
That's like the
Okay,
first thing
just because
everybody
there's
goes to.
labor, just because there's labor cuts all the time doesn't mean that they don't look to other sources of savings first.
Well, they might, but bottom line is getting rid of people is a money saver, and it's always going to
Not
be.
necessarily, not if you don't have enough people to actually do the job and
Well, in the age of robots now, they don't need people.
okay, well then that's
Yeah.
that's a cost that they were going to cut anyway.
I mean, I'm sure they're not cheap either, but it's still cheaper probably in the long run.
The
They can
system.
work 24 hours a day,
No,
7
like
days a week, and you don't have to pay them. You know what I mean?
a business owner looks to do things more efficiently.
For themselves.
Whether hold on, whether that is cutting costs by finding savings in labor, or whether that's, you know, finding ways to make things more efficient, to cut the time that it takes to produce things. There's a lot of different things that, you know, you can do. Like all right, this is an example. You know, back in the early 1900s, you know, they had like, you know, the assembly line that, you know, things were, that was an efficient way to put products together,
Like a workflow.
and that allowed a lot more productivity to happen without necessarily, you know, cutting jobs, because they were able to produce more, which, you know, that, you know, cars, you know, when we manufactured cars, that increased the demand for cars, which meant more people in those factories, but more people could produce more cars faster. Those are the type of things that business owners look for. They look for savings so that you know, they're maximizing the efficiency of their business. That's their job. If they don't do that, by law, like if they have shareholders, by law, they're like violating their duty to their shareholders.
You know, it's funny. There's no law in any of that speech that says that if you're going to start some multi, $1 million business or whatever, whether it's cars or whatever, it doesn't say that you have to pay your employees a livable wage now, does it? So basically, you can pay them just the minimum to get by.
You can pay, the law says that you have to pay the minimum wage.
Yeah,
It's not
minimum
their
wage is not
fault.
a livable wage, though.
It's not their fault that
Our
the minimum
government's
wage
corrupt.
is so no, it's not their fault that the minimum wage is so low.
Well, why
And
is that though? Don't you think that's a problem? Because I do.
I
Back in the
mean, it is a
1900s, minimum
problem.
wage can keep a roof over your head, or at least probably more so than now. You know what I
No,
mean? Definitely more so than now. 15
there
bucks
was
an hour
no,
does not, you cannot live on that.
no, there was no minimum wage before what, like,
And there
was
was
it
no billionaires then
Eisenhower
either, by
or
the way. You know what I mean? There was definitely no billionaires or like insane amounts of money that, basically allows
I don't know if it was
whoever's in
as
charge
early
to
as
control
Roosevelt,
anything.
but
Was that?
I said I don't know if it was as early as Roosevelt, but I mean, like, it could have been. But in any case, like, there's the, you know, it's up to the political will of the people to insist on higher wages. We've done so in several
It's
states.
not going to happen.
New York has raised its minimum wage. California has raised its minimum wage.
Yeah, thank God for the blue
Others,
states.
okay, but like America is not functional in terms of
Anything.
uh okay, but I'm speaking specifically
Yeah.
about Congress and moving things forward like a minimum wage bill. They can't uh you know, most people I guess are in favor of it, but there's no political will to move that bill forward in Congress.
Of course not, because it's not in the
Um
business's best interest. So it'll never happen because of it.
no, it's not that it's not in the business's best interest.
Well, how come it
Um
hasn't happened yet?
well, because
They
there are
don't
some
care.
no, it's because there's a lot of Republicans who it's because there's a lot of Republicans who do not believe in raising the minimum wage across the board at the federal level. They believe that in some states, like the cost of living is lower, and therefore having a federal minimum wage might be too high for their state.
What
And
if they
so they
vary it
don't,
by state, though? They do everything else like that,
well, then that's a little bit trickier. They can vary it by state. Each state can raise its own
right?
minimum wage laws.
But it's not going to happen. But you know what I mean?
Well, I
It's a nice
mean, New York did.
theoretically.
New York
Yeah,
did.
but it's still not
That's not
livable.
theoretically.
Yeah, but it's still not $15 an hour is not livable, no matter where you live in the state of New York.
Okay,
Sorry, it's
but
definitely not.
it's isn't it increasing to I think it was supposed to increase, no?
No, I think 15 was the cap because
Okay.
before that it was 750, wasn't it?
Well, that was the federal minimum wage, like 7.25 maybe
Yeah,
or
which is a
something like
joke because
that.
you can't even get a combo meal at a fast food joint for that
Okay,
price.
but when it was passed, it was probably more or less sufficient.
Well, it might
But
have been more relevant then. You figure that 15 years ago, maybe it was relevant then. Yeah, but that's about probably at
not
the
relevant,
soonest.
sufficient. But um it you know it there are different costs of living in different states, and there is something to be said about, as long as we have differing costs of living, maybe the minimum wage shouldn't be the same
I
across
don't
the
think it
board.
should. Yeah.
Maybe each state is responsible for, raising the minimum wage to what, they see is good for their state. Now, because we have a federal minimum wage, we try to set a floor below which states really can't abuse that. Does it need to be higher? Probably. Does it need
Hmm.
to be the same as in New York? Probably not.
No, same thing with
And
like Cali.
so, because the standard of living is just more there. It costs more to live there, and so you can't really expect to hold states like West Virginia to the same minimum wage standards as you do in places like New York. You just can't. Um,
I'll
they
tell you
don't
where the
have the
fuckery.
money.
I'll tell you where the fuckery comes into play, though. If you were a fast food worker, say you're in college, say you're a high school kid, say you work for the fast food industry, doesn't matter which one of those disgusting places you work at, you make $15 an hour, right? I went there a couple of months back. That was the last resort. Trust me, I don't make a habit of eating that garbage, but I had no other choice and there was nothing else open. So I went to one of them. 1480 something was the total. So do you realize 1 hour of work at that establishment can get you literally just one meal? And you don't think there's a problem with that?
Wait, what do you hold on? You said 1480 is what?
That's how much the combo meal cost. And the
Okay.
person that works there makes $15 an hour. So his 1 hour can barely pay for one meal on that menu. Do you realize that?
Okay. So do you want to pay more for your meal?
No, but
No,
like
you
I don't.
don't. You don't want to pay more for your meal. So then how the fuck is that person supposed to get more than
How does
$15
anybody?
an
Why
hour?
would anybody want to work there? How do they stay open? That's what I want to know. Because
Well,
if you
what
can't,
I'm saying, how do you pay him more than $15 an hour if you don't want to pay $15 for your meal?
I want to know how that person makes a living when he can't even buy more than one meal with 1 hour's worth of work. out of his job. Like, do you
Okay,
realize that?
but
Like
how
that's
do you expect them to make more if you're not willing to pay them? You just
we're
proved
talking billion-dollar companies here. I think they can pay their employees a
billion
little bit
dollar
more.
companies. Okay, but
McDonald's is a
like,
billion-dollar company, you know.
okay, but
Yeah,
if
and it's
you,
globally known.
okay,
No,
but
but McDonald's
if
is a
you're
franchise that's nothing to do with the major corporation.
right, but also, like, if you're not willing to pay more, how do you expect workers to get
I
paid
think that's
more?
a myth in a sense, though.
But
They always say,
all right,
well, if we raise the employee wages, then we're gonna, I mean, then all the prices will go up. They did this in Europe, I think it was a couple of years ago, and the prices didn't even budge, and the workers actually got more an hour.
well,
No, I'm not saying that it wouldn't, but you're not willing to pay more.
I
all right,
don't eat that
the,
crap, so I mean, I'm not gonna pay it all.
Okay,
So
but that's like a cop out of the argument. You
all right,
said you're upset with paying
no,
15.
I'm upset with the fact that imagine your job where you work at right now, and they sell a product or a service, and after 1 hour's work of whatever it is that you do, you could barely afford what you're working for as product to be bought.
there's, dude,
There's a
there's some,
problem there, I think, dude. Like
yeah, but
that's weird.
there are some
Like
places
that,
like people work in hotels they can't even afford to spend a day
yeah,
there.
they can't even stay in the hotel they work at. Like, are you fucking
Right.
shitting
So
me?
so
Like,
do you think
There's
someone that cleans the floor at a hotel should be able to afford a penthouse? I mean, if they paid everyone that clean you know,
no, but I think they
penthouse
should be.
affording wages, then I just don't see how that place could stay in business.
I don't see how any of these places stay in business because I don't know why anybody would want to work there if you're not even if you're gonna make the bare minimum of the
Well,
barrel.
you know what? If you go to
Yeah,
McDonald's, there are people working there. So
yeah, I don't think
obviously
they
some
want
people
to.
do want
Yeah, I don't think they
obviously
want
that,
to because
well, they're
there's
not
no jobs in
enslaved.
America. That's
Are they
why.
enslaved? No, they go to work there.
they're enslaved by
It's maybe
money,
Yeah, they're
maybe
enslaved by
different kind of
it's
money.
maybe
slavery.
not the most thrilling job, but you
All right.
know,
The problem with the system as it is right now is that when something increases in price, like because of a situation, everybody increases their prices when they shouldn't. For instance, when everyone moved out of fucking New York during the pandemic, everyone jumped their rents $200-300. Oh, these all these New York people are going to be moving in. No, that's bullshit. Why'd you do that for? But like, it's just like
Well, we don't have
you're
housing being
working
built
right. You're
either.
working at your job. Let's say you make $25 an hour, right? You're working at a regular job. You're doing pretty good. You feel good, but all of a sudden something happens. The next thing you know, gas goes up. Because gas goes up, food prices go up. Because food prices
You
go
go
up,
somewhere else instead.
all your utilities go up, and even after all the utilities go up, your rent goes up. Like you have all these things that you're paying all go up at the same time, but your pay doesn't go up.
Yep. And most of these
okay.
places don't
It's
give
a
you
it's a
pensions.
it's a
You know what I
failing
mean?
system for the worker end of it. If you're a
That's
worker,
that's the
you're
main thing
fucked in
I'm
this
trying to
country.
establish throughout this whole
That's the problem
conversation.
with it all because
Yeah,
it
I
all
agree with that. I agree with that.
the
The
Okay.
worker
workers are always the
baseline of any
expendability.
job
Right, but
anywhere.
then you're not willing to pay more for your burger.
I
I
mean,
think that's bullshit, though. I
How
think
is
that's
that
bullshit
bullshit?
because
There,
they've done this in
McDonald's is
France.
in
I
a
think it
business to
was.
sell burgers, and you no,
It
but
only costs, but it only
you're
costs so much
talking
to make the
about
same burger. You know what I mean? Like France did this and they raised their wages, and guess what? The prices didn't go up on their menu
who
because
raised the
greed doesn't
wages.
control. I think it was.
McDonald's is a really bad
Who?
I think
example
it
for
was
this.
like fast food.
Really
It may
bad
not have been
example.
McDonald's. It may have been something else,
No, but
but it
so
was somewhere
McDonald's in
overseas. It
itself
was like
is a really
France. It
bad
was somewhere
example
in
because
Europe.
number one, you can't really call McDonald's food because it's not really food.
It's
It's
not.
a
Yeah.
snack. It's a snack that gets you by or could fill you, yes, but it's
I
not
don't
real
know.
food.
No,
It's
it's
yeah,
not real food.
I don't
That's
know. I would consider it food, maybe not healthy food,
not
a
healthy
lot of
food,
it,
but
but
it's
it is
cheap,
food.
and that's the problem.
yeah.
It's
It's not
cheap.
really. It's fake though. Like it's not real. There's so much fillers and shit in there. Like you're better off
Okay.
going to the supermarket and buying a
All
pack of
right, but
burgers there.
that's off topic. Get back
That's
on
off topic.
topic.
Yeah, I mean, all right. I mean, we're probably coming down to the end of this, but I understand that there's an ebb and flow when it comes to the economy of working for jobs and jobs needing to stay in the black. But I feel like there needs to be a little more consideration from those who own the businesses to those who they, are employed
Okay,
with them. But at the same,
sure, but they cannot do so in isolation. And we have a system for, sharing costs across the board, and that is our political system. And right now, our political
joke.
system,
In the shitter.
okay, you can say it's a joke, but
Yeah.
like if you can't articulate why, then there's no point.
Just turn the
So-
TV on, you can see
Well, no,
why.
all right.
Okay, but what
Right
I'm,
now, the
what I'm,
political system is basically at its own throat. It's attacking itself. It's got an autoimmune disease, whatever you want to call it. It's just not functioning properly. Because you
Yeah.
got one side who's trying to get things back on track. You got the other side who's completely derailing everything,
all right,
giving
but
a fuck who they
if
they
you
affect.
if you do something like if you make a regulation that applies across the board to all businesses across an industry, if you raise the minimum wage across the board for all people, then those companies are playing by the same rules, and they all have to suffer and endure those costs. That is what needs to happen. You can't just expect a business owner to be like, oh, you know what? I am going to lose some money today. That's not how business works, and it's not how it should work.
No, I'm fully aware of that.
It
But at the
can't
same
work like
time, I
that.
feel like the business shouldn't have never been established in the first place if they're not going to pay their employees and their staff a livable wage, because that just doesn't make any sense. So you get the 90% profit, you can pay your employees a shit wage to survive, and they can't survive. You are doing more than enough to survive. Technically, you can afford to pay them more,
And yet
but there's no
people
law that
still
tells
come
you
to
do
work
it.
there every day. So
Yeah, because they don't have a choice. In America, you don't have
no,
a
you
choice
do have a
anymore.
choice.
No, you don't. Because if you don't work somewhere, you're not getting paid. If you're not getting
Sure.
paid, the lights ain't staying on.
Okay, but
Yeah,
like
desperation is what's getting people, and that's why they don't have a choice. They have to take these shit jobs.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They don't have a choice. There's no America. Remember the land of choice? There's no fucking choice here. Not in
Yeah.
America. Not
Because
anymore.
if you won't take
Okay.
what they give you, so I mean, we basically are trapped when it comes to jobs because they know that they have you over, a barrel most of the time, and you sit there and you try to work hard to get a raise, and they promise you this, that, and the other thing, and then you never see it. It's just it becomes slavery without the use of the word slavery.
I can see it's a financial slavery.
It's exactly. It's
Yeah, that's actually what I can see that. I can see that.
I
Is it-
certainly wouldn't use the word slavery because
Well, it's
slavery
definitely a financial-
is
Yeah,
Uh,
it's a sensitive word, and
stronghold.
it definitely doesn't have the same meaning
Right.
what it meant when they were slaves. But at the same time, you're enslaved to the business. You're not enslaved where you can't leave if you don't want to. But at the same time, you still have rent to pay, you got bills to pay. You're stuck to that end. I guess you're a slave to your bills rather than your job.
Yeah,
but
that's
at the
true.
same time, your job is supposed to help you pay your bills. But when your job isn't enough, you're supposed to move on. But how can you? There's nothing out there.
Yeah, there's nothing that pays
You
livable
literally
wages.
have to go back to school when nobody can
Eh.
afford to go back to school.
Yeah, I don't even know if that's the answer, to be honest.
Even that, yeah.
Yeah, like not anymore.
Maybe learn a trade. Who knows? It's just
Yeah,
I'm
like that might be a little more suitable.
I'm in a
I mean, in the
situation
long
where I'm
run.
trying to think about how can I make more money.
Like,
It's
I'm not-
obviously not working out my job. So what do? Do I try to start like a small little business? Do I try to maybe use a skill that I have to do something else, like voiceovers or reading books? Like I know you edit books, G.
Yeah.
There's got to be something for me to do. But at the same time, I'm at a loss. I have no one who can guide me towards this path that I could do to be successful.
Yeah.
So at the same time, it's just like,
And I'll
you
be
know,
honest, college degree is useful, but really in modern days, it's only so useful.
yeah,
It's really not worth it, to be honest. Like you said, the trade, you're probably more secure with that because it takes less time to complete. And then usually, like carpentry, electrician work, you kind of can get started right away. Whereas,
Yeah.
good fucking luck with your.
so far
degree,
they
you
haven't
know what I
used
mean?
robots to replace carpenters and electricians and shit like that.
But that is coming if it hasn't already. Yeah,
Yeah.
that's. I was just gonna say.
So far, they're 3D
Yeah.
printing house bases, so there's only so much more to run it by itself. So
Because I think it was in a Stallone movie, and I don't remember which one it was, but he said some real shit that I feel, and it makes sense. And he was basically kind of saying that college degrees are kind of bullshit. And in a sense, I see what he's saying when he says this, because he's like, all it is you pay this ridiculous tuition, you pay all this ridiculous money, and all you do in the end is it just shows that you're able to show up to some place regularly for 4 years straight to complete a series of tasks moderately or reasonably well, and that you can get jobs done. He's like, that's what college is in a nutshell. And he's got a point, especially in modern days. Like
Well,
15, 20
I'm
years ago, maybe not
sorry.
as much.
Who said that? Sylvester
It was
Stallone?
in a Stallone movie, but I forget what movie it was. It might have been one of the Rockies, but I might be fucking that
Yeah.
up.
Well,
I'm guessing you don't
first of
agree with
all,
that.
I'm not taking advice from Stallone, who isn't he a Trump supporter?
He probably wouldn't surprise me.
Because he's got
But
anybody
Yeah,
who's got money supports Trump for the most part
exactly. And I
because
could understand that
they
because
don't
he's
want
a
to lose
nah,
money.
handouts.
It's the same business friggin' mentality
but
as we're dealing with when we were just talking about stuff.
Mm.
Nobody wants to be in the red, whether it's through taxes, whether it's through, your employees costing too much, whether it's your product costing too much to make. They're gonna slash it, and it's gonna fucking come at some expense, whether it's the product, the people, or the government. Doesn't
Mm.
matter.
I don't know. I think that an education is important, not necessarily in addition to preparing you for the workforce.
They don't do.
Well, it depends. It
They don't
depends.
No,
entirely.
they really don't. They
Yeah.
teach you how
Uh,
to run the till. They teach you what the world was like. They teach you how to speak, and they teach you that if you add stuff together that really doesn't work, you could make something really bad that could possibly kill you. That's it. And maybe you'll speak another language and run around in the gym. But I
Speaking of
mean,
the
okay,
language,
but
they don't give you like the basic skills to like balance a checkbook, to maybe plan, plan your future with, monetarily, where, you finance this,
well, some of that you would assume it should be in high school, not even in college, to
yeah,
be
but they don't
honest.
teach you this kind of
But they
stuff.
don't teach it,
They teach you
period.
the
They
bare
don't. Yeah.
minimum to get by, and then when you
Yeah.
sit there like, why can't I do this? Is because you weren't ingrained to do that. I
Yeah, but
wasn't
they could
ingrained to
teach you how
like,
to do your own taxes, but they don't.
they don't. No,
They
they
could,
don't.
you know what I mean? But they don't. Yeah. It's a good point. That
The
is a good
problem,
point
the
there.
problem is to fix problems in this world, it costs money. And if that venture is not profitable, no one's going to go for it. We could
Right.
solve world hunger. We could solve our power problems. We could solve water problems. But to do so, you'd have to spend a shit ton of money, which would put a lot of people in the red, and it would solve the problem. But nobody wants to do it.
That's like the great George
okay,
Carlin once
but do you
said.
want to go out and solve other people's problems for no money?
That's like the
I
great
mean,
George Carlin had said.
isn't that what most of those Einstein Awards and the Pulitzer Prize winners and stuff like? Isn't that what all that stuff is for? To help people, to be one of those great people
I'm
who
surprised they
did
still
something for the
exist.
world.
Pretty sure you get money for a Pulitzer Prize.
But still, it's like,
That's the reason why what you just said, the homelessness, it'll never be fixed. There's no money in that. Like the
yeah,
great George Carlin had once said. Yeah, like that'll never be fixed. If anything, it's due to all these layoffs and robots taking jobs.
Okay.
You're going to see homelessness go up in the next
yeah.
year and a half. Watch.
We're
It's
gonna
going to
have
happen.
we're gonna
It's
have
going to
the
happen.
demolition man with people living in the friggin' sewers.
Yeah. Like I tell you, and it's not just like a state or two. It's going to be nationwide. Like it already is right now, pretty much where we stand. You know what I mean?
Oh, it's a good thing Trump is gonna kick him out of every city then, I guess.
Yeah. I don't even bring that clown up because he don't give a fuck. This country is dumb enough to think a billionaire cared about him.
You know what's funny? I was actually doing a little thinking.
Well, he wasn't a billionaire before,
Where,
but
but he is
Now he
now,
is.
thanks to
Thanks to all his rich buddies who bought his fucking
bullshit
his,
coin.
his Trump coin. Yay
Yeah.
for you guys!
Nothing like
How's it
more
treating you?
bullshit to add. It wouldn't surprise me that he got involved in that.
You know what? I don't think at first I'm like, it's all about the grift for Trump. It's all about the grift for Trump. I don't think it's about the grift for Trump. As rich people do, they get bored of doing things that normal people do, so they start doing things that normal people don't do.
Hmm.
Like have little kid sex parties on somebody's island and other stuff. I think that
It gets wacky. They lose their mind after a while. I think the
I
money drives
think
them
with
nuts.
Trump, it's not about the grift. It's about seeing people's hope being stripped away. And just like, yeah, that feels good. I'm going to do that again. I'm going to
okay,
make
but
you feel like
it's
your hope was going to change things. Things are going to get better, and I'm just going to rip that out of your way and watch you cry about it.
Especially when
I
it's
don't know.
cultures he doesn't like.
He is all about the grift though. Like his Trump University, even before he became president, his Trump University, and like,
The states.
he's just a grifty person in general, like
But
naturally.
Yeah, no, that's
you wouldn't
true.
disagree that
It
there are
is.
people like that out there that have been doing so long hunting and sleeping with supermodels that eventually they get bored and they decide I'm gonna start fucking with people and just see
Yeah,
them.
that's Elon Musk.
Yeah, that's definitely Mala. Yep, that's definitely
You know what I'm
Elon
saying?
Musk.
It's just
Yep.
I think
They
well
all don't end up that way, but it
I
does
think
happen clearly as we
I
just
think Trump's definitely a grifter though.
yeah,
Like
no, there's no
he
denying
is.
that. Yeah.
Let me sell my fucking crypto coin
Right.
like the night
Bullshit on
before my
bullshit.
aren't you
presidency.
not supposed to be selling like the presidential seal? Isn't that like
Yeah.
a thing you're not supposed to do?
And the White House lawn is not supposed to be a car
Uh,
dealership either.
Well, I mean, originally in his first term, he was selling White House cups with the presidential seal on it, which is
Yeah.
something you're not really supposed to do. It's not like it's illegal and you're going to get arrested. It was kind of like a faux pas thing, unspoken rule. But
Like a
no,
frowned upon.
he didn't give a shit. He'd sell the actual.
okay, but that's just merchandise. He made foreign leaders and business people stay at his hotels, okay?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, at what point do we say, this is too much wrong? It needs to be
I
corrected.
don't know. In America, it doesn't feel like that's a thing anymore. There's like no laws, no rules. If you're rich, that is. But
Not
if you're
even.
not, it's a different
Not
story.
even because I've seen videos of fucking random people doing stupid shit because they thought they were entitled to do so.
Yeah.
More now than it was back then. People had
Tell you, man.
people had morality back then. They had shame back then. Now there's none of that.
Nope.
No one gives a shit.
Nope. Yeah, it's sad. But this is the direction this country's headed. So I hope we're ready because this is just the beginning.
Oh
We're only
please,
6-7 months in here, buddy.
giant comet from the sky. Please snap your fingers.
Yeah.
Half of us.
I had a running joke with a friend where I said that. I was like, wouldn't it be funny with all the bullshit that's going on if suddenly we find out a comet's on its way to hit the planet? And then that right there would make Don't Look Up be a documentary overnight.
Yep. I either want it to be like massive flooding, volcanoes erupting all over the planet, a huge friggin' meteor, or my favorite, zombie apocalypse.
And I'll tell you this.
Probably will never happen, but
it was a 2006 or 8 or somewhere in Idiocracy. That
Yeah.
movie already became now a documentary, pretty much.
yeah, pretty
We
much.
didn't think so back then because, I
Nope.
guess, yeah, people were a little smarter maybe, but yeah, recent days, I don't know, man.
It doesn't appear like
Yeah.
we're as dumb, but we're very close.
Yeah, that's pretty
Oh
much.
no, I think
You think
in
we're there?
many respects it's dumber than Idiocracy.
You think it's even worse? Wow, really? I guess it's with social media and shit. I suppose you can bring up a very good point up there. It's very, very likely.
Oh my god!
Yeah.
I'm remembering the scene where they're shooting up his
Like-
car. And he's like, yeah, that's his own car.
I mean, did you see Trump's not inauguration, his nomination convention? Like,
Mhm. It was just out of that movie. It looked like Terry Crews, but it was Hulk Hogan.
mhm.
Yeah, it was like I tell you, you watch that movie, and everybody watching too. If you've seen the movie, you already know what we're talking about. But if you hadn't, go check that movie out and then check what he just said directly after. The parallel is almost it's scary.
No, but I mean, if you
Scary.
listen to Trump talk, like
It's the same.
like you couldn't make up a script as dumb as Trump talks. You really couldn't.
Yeah.
But you have to kind of
No,
develop
for
that
real, though.
skill to be able to ramble on and change subjects and be as vague as possible,
You really can't.
Always-
though. Like,
boasting all the time. We had the best stuff. We always had the best
No,
stuff.
and
Had
and
the best stuff.
and his supporters, I like Trump told us, with respect to the Epstein list, there is no list. He said there is no list. Then he said, "Oh, if there is a list, I'm not on it."
yeah,
And he said, "If I'm on it, Obama put me on it."
right. Or Obama, what do you
Uh,
call it, mate? Hillary did it.
Right, like do people who support him listen to him?
They
or
just
do
listen to
they,
whatever he
or
says. He's the
they
cult
just
leader,
clap like seals, like he did for Putin when he arrived
right?
in
Like I brought up at the
Alaska.
beginning of the episode. Yeah.
It's just like all these inconsistencies in his speech, and people still support him. They still believe him.
Politicians
At that at that
support him.
point, at that
It's
point,
scary.
at that point, like I just can't take, you know, I can't take them seriously.
No, hell
And
no.
it's dumber than idiocracy,
Yeah.
because at least in idiocracy it was somewhat, I mean, it was somewhat plausible, but like if a president said like so many contradictory things about a, you know, a list,
Yeah. Very awkward
um
list.
right, like
One you would not want to be
can
on.
you can you like how do people not like throw up their hands and say this guy is a fucking liar? um
Cult leader. That's why they drank the Kool-Aid. It's too late. We can think for ourselves, and I'm sure there's others, like some of our viewers and stuff too. But I hate to say it, but if you were on band with it the first term and you're still on band with it this term, you didn't learn.
I'll say
You didn't
this.
learn.
I don't think it's so much that they're on board with Trump as they've been misinformed and misled.
That's true
Most of
too.
them. I think some are on board with like all his bullshit, and those people are just
I
crazy.
don't know.
But I think
At some point it's willful ignorance.
Yeah, because you have
yeah,
to know.
but
Yeah,
at the
you
same
have
time, I
to.
also believe it's a lot of like, just timing. I mean, not everybody listens to the political heartbeat like we do. And even that is at its minimum. You see other people who are doing podcasts and shows about political views. They're freaking on there every day talking with lawyers, politicians, trying to get, a good sense of what's going on behind the scenes. But we don't really need that because we can see it all up front. We could, use our heads and say, based on what I'm seeing, is things aren't going well.
Yeah, it's intellectual laziness,
Yeah.
due in
Mhm.
large part to people's addiction to social media.
That's part of it. And I
Yeah, that
guess
could be.
because of that, they allow themselves to be susceptible to the misinformation because it's
I
it's
think
rampant everywhere.
it's changed the way our society thinks.
And
It's
you got to
changed
look
the
at
way
the
individuals think and the way society thinks as a group.
As yeah,
and
like a
look at
whole. Yeah, yeah, yeah.
like legacy media, the mainstream media. They haven't really friggin' stepped up.
The only one I did are the South Park writers. They got more balls than the mainstream media.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. There used to be a time back in the day
Trey
where
Parker, the other
reporters,
guy.
were on the case or really like sacrificing and fought for good stories that would put things like this crap into light. But I guess since it's rotten from the head down, the president, Senate, the House, the judicial system, the DOJ. It's like everything is fucked up. The FBI. It's like we have nowhere to look towards to be like,
No.
Well,
yes,
yeah,
this country functioning
people
well. We look at
people do
everything
not
else.
trust institutions anymore.
No, not at
Yeah.
all.
Well, especially
Um,
because ours have been failed so many times. It's just like,
Yeah, but
right.
it's worse
Well,
than that now. But originally,
part of it is speech like that. Oh, everything's failing. Oh, what can you
well, I
trust?
mean, would you consider right now things going great?
I
No, of
wouldn't
course not.
know, but
Yeah, like
I
well,
would
all right.
say that there is some good journalism going on, or at least
Well,
attempting
yeah, but the
to go
problem
on.
is when you get that good journalism out there, you got the top, the head at the
A lot
top.
of people,
I don't like it. Let's
yeah. And then
let's let's
you get
call their
Colbert.
parent company and threaten them,
right?
or
Well,
let's
yeah. I mean, you have, Jeff Bezos, who like killed the Washington Post, basically.
Yeah.
Their editorial.
And look what they did to Colbert just because of the way he talked.
yeah,
You know what I mean? Like,
because they wouldn't put through the Paramount fucking merger.
yeah, like it's crazy. Like, who's the next to be cut off for, you know what I mean? So much for the freedom of speech, I guess, right? Because
Yep.
we're slowly losing that one too.
pretty much anything that goes against Trump, Trump's going to rail against and fight.
Yeah, he
Right.
thinks this is Russia. Like, yeah, it's sad.
And if he doesn't
bro.
get his, if he doesn't get his way, he pushes the envelope further.
Yeah, until
That's
he does.
scary.
Yeah,
So-
and the Republicans will sit back and let him do it. Apparently.
So I guess wrapping this up for everybody, has definitely been talking too long.
There's an extended episode.
Take everything you hear with a grain of salt. You know, sit back and really reflect on it. You know, walk away, watch the show, come back to it later, look at it with fresh eyes again. See if you still feel the same way.
Yeah,
At this point, we can't afford not to second guess everything, because
I don't know. I think
it's in the plan to drive us all the wrong way, to keep him protected, to keep us blind from what he's trying to do.
yep.
But
And
most
all
of us are
crimes he's
trying to
committed.
fight it. Most of us are seeing it, and we're pushing. But we need everybody on board.
All right, everyone. That's all we got for this week on Strange Planet Podcast. New episodes will be every Friday, normally on YouTube. And may God help us all. Thanks for watching. Peace.
peace.